Cool beans.
What's up, y'all? This is episode 46 of Shoe Booty Sports. That's the Andy Pettit episode. For you folks keeping up, I'm your host, Graham Powell, co-host Bradley Brown.
You.
Oh, nice high, by the way. Yep.
Yeah,
Nice and
that's me.
quick. Nice and quick. Like, yeah, we got a time limit, Graham. Let's go. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Rhino Races. Ladies and gentlemen, Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races, a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all of their races there on the website. Visit rhinoraces.com for details. Sign up, run your race at your convenience, track your results with your fitness app, screenshot your results, submit them there on the website at rhinoraces.com as proof of completion. They ship you your award by mail after your proof of completion is verified. Also, check out their gear section. They have t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. RhinoRaces.com. Also, you can find Shoe Booty Sports, us two guys, on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast. You could watch us on the YouTube on YouTube, also on Spotify.
Watch some on the internet.
Yeah, on that internet thing. You can also find us on the Wisdom app and follow us on Twitter at Shoe Booty Sports. So we have a lot to talk about finally. Football is back officially, both the NFL, college football. It's been back for a couple of weeks now, but NFL week 1 started Thursday. It was basically like just a holiday. Kicked it off with a hell of a game Thursday night, Bills at Rams. We'll touch up on that in a bit. And then, yeah, Sunday's games, a lot of good games. We'll start off with the Monday night one. Broncos at Seahawks. Geno Smith. I was impressed with Geno Smith. What did you think of his play?
I mean, obviously he did good since they won the game, but I I didn't get to watch a whole lot of that game. I was at Top Golf. I was going in and out of when I was took part in a top golf competition, so I
To
wasn't
to
really paying
to
attention.
to today, Junior.
I know, yeah.
But yeah, Geno looked good, man. I was impressed. Geno looked good. He looks in shape. He was throwing some darts out there. He played well. Yeah, I mean, you check out his stat column. He's not going to blow up your. He's not going to score a lot of points on your fantasy team, but for the Seahawks, he can win some games. He looked good. I was impressed with him. Russ, on the other hand, made good plays here and there. Wasn't consistent. New team, new offense, all that. All that can be attributed to that. The big thing was the end of the game.
Yeah.
Poorly managed. Peyton, I watched the Manning cast. Peyton's just sitting there doing this, going timeout, timeout. It's like call timeout. Like they literally wasted. They let the clock drain to like 20 seconds just to call timeout, and then they got it. That's their first blunder. Then you get it to essentially midfield, and on 4th and 5, they elect I believe it was a 62-yard field goal.
I thought it was a 64.
I think you're right. Okay, at the 64-yard field goal by McManus, and he's got a foot on him, but 64 is no gimme. And you have Russ Wilson. You gave up like 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, and just paid him a lot of money, like what, 250 million, something like that, 160 something of it guaranteed. And it's 4th and 5, and instead of putting the ball in his hands, you try a 64-yard field goal. Of course, doesn't go in. Seahawks win. Yeah, I was surprised. I figured Denver would pull that one out. The thing that annoyed me though, the coach basically defending it after the game. And Russ said Russ was just being a good quarterback and saying, yeah, it was the right thing to do. It wasn't the right thing to do. And he
No.
knew that, but he knew he couldn't. You can't say any different to the press because they're just going to roll with it. But the head coach did at least, I think today or yesterday or at some point said, yeah, it was we should have done something different. To sum it up. Yeah, you should have. It
I
was
mean,
It
I don't
was a
even
good
think you
game.
make that play call even if you're playing Madden. Like even if it's make believe, you don't make that call. Like,
Yeah, freshman year of college, that was back when NCAA football was still around. And yeah, Heifers, my roommate, Heath Stout, called him Heifers, childhood
shout
friend
out
of ours.
Heifers.
Yeah, shout out Heifers. We played that game so many times that he just decided he was going to win the Heisman Trophy with his kicker. Like that was his goal for the next round of play for that season. He was going to win the Heisman Trophy with his kicker. So every time his offense got the ball, he would just send the field goal unit out whenever they got like within a halfway decent range. But some of them were like 50 and 60 yard, like 60-yard field goals he was booting because he had like a creative player kicker. So you could just put him 100 on everything. They had this just Terminator looking guy out there as his kicker, and he was booting 64 yarders and whatnot. But this is real life.
Wait, did he win the Heisman?
He did win the Heisman. Yes, he did. He did win the Heisman. I can't.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, he did. You can win the Heisman with your kicker, apparently, on NCAA, whatever that was. 05, maybe 4. I think it
Yeah,
was
it's
oh
probably
five.
04, 05. Yeah, sure.
It might have been. I don't know. Long time ago, obviously.
Long time ago. Yeah.
Obviously, a long time ago. But yeah, this is real life. You got Russ Wilson. Put the ball in his hands. But I mean, it was a good game. Just I had Jerry Judy on my fantasy team, and he got me. And I was down 25 points, and he got me excited when he scored that long touchdown. He had like one or two more catches the rest of the game, so I lost by like 5 points or something.
Oh man, I went 2 for 3.
Yeah, and you're bound to win at least one week. I guess that's the one perk of being in so many leagues. I guess you're bound to win at least one
You
of them.
you would think that, yeah.
You would think, unless you just draft similar players, which I think I'd be guilty of. But anyway, get back to real life football. So yeah, it was a Geno looked good. That was my takeaway from it. Seattle's not going to be as bad as we thought going into it for sure. And the Sunday night football game, Brady and the Bucks against the Cowboys. Now that's one team that did not look good. Dallas looked awful, even with Dak on the field. Just looked terrible. Did you see any of that
Yeah.
game?
I did. I did,
Yeah,
sadly. I kept waiting. I was like, man, when are the Cowboys going to make a play? And the only play that they made was Dak hitting his hand twice. That's about it. Sucks for Dak, but
yeah, I hate that for him. I do like Dak,
yeah, I like him. I mean,
but I
yeah,
wouldn't have paid
dang it.
him that much money. Dak is a good quarterback
Same
if he's
thing
got
like
a.
same thing as Zeke. I mean, they paid him too early too.
I wouldn't have. I wouldn't. I would have paid Zach, or Zach. I would have paid Dak, but not what he was asking.
No.
Now I would have. I would not have paid Zeke that money. I would have let him walk. I'd be like,
Yep.
no, we'll roll with Pollard and we'll get somebody else. I would not have paid him that kind of money. But the thing that stood out to me right away, Cowboys started with the trick plays early. That's when I was like, yeah, they're in trouble. When you start off that early with trick plays, you know that you don't match up. You don't match up with the other team. You're basically kind of saying, yeah, we can't take you guys straight up. And that proved to be the case. Tom Brady, Brady was Brady. I know he's got a lot going on that would typically be a distraction for most. And it seemed like, at least it seemed like a little bit like it's you could just tell kind of something's on his mind.
Yeah.
Something is on his mind. He's got something going on in his personal life. It didn't affect his play. He's Tom Brady. He's not going to let that affect his play. But you can kind of tell just by his mannerisms a little bit. He's going through some stuff right now at home. So that's got to be tough. But Bucks, I mean, Bucks looked all right. I mean, the more so the story was the Cowboys just don't look very good. They just don't look like a good football team. They're going to be even worse with Dak out for the foreseeable future. I don't know how long it's going to take something like that heal up to where you can play again. I
Heard
think
6 to 8 weeks.
yeah, I
So
heard it could be like late October, maybe. Which, yeah, it's a while. Do you
think they're
roll with
gonna.
Cooper Rush for that? I heard something today about
Uh,
Jerry Jones possibly signing Kaepernick.
yeah, I've heard Kaepernick. I've heard Cam. I've heard rumors about him picking up and calling Jimmy G. But hey,
I
go
wouldn't.
for it. Go get Kaepernick.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring in Jimmy G because they're gonna
No,
49ers are gonna ask a lot, and you're not gonna bring Jimmy G in for just that amount of time.
no,
But and I wouldn't bring in Cam. I've seen enough of Cam to know what he is at this point, and bringing him into a new offense. I'm kind of with you. If I had to pick amongst those, I'll go with Kaepernick. It's kind of died down by now. I don't think people are going to make that big of a deal about it. Well, at least the detractors. I don't think the detractors are going to. They're just like, oh, he finally got a job. 5 years
no.
later or whatever it is. His supporters are going to be real hype about it, but it's been so long. Like it's not going to be as big of a deal as it would have been, you know, 2-3 years ago.
I still think it'd be a big deal, even if hell, if he gets put on the roster, they're gonna make a big deal about it.
They will. You're correct, but yeah, I don't think there would be as much backlash. I guess
No,
I'll put it that way. It like I said, his supporters are they're gonna be really excited about this, but I don't think the detractors really care at this point. Is essentially what I'm getting at. I'm neither here. I don't care. If he can help my team win, if it's me and he can help my team win, sure, let's bring him in. And he's better than anybody else that any of those guys that
but
we just
oh,
mentioned.
he just kneeled and he didn't have a masseuse problem. Yeah, bring him in on in here.
Right? Yeah.
Bring bring Cat back. Yeah,
Yeah.
bring him on in here.
He kneeled during the anthem. He didn't didn't say anything, didn't talk bad about anybody, he didn't have 64 masseuses and 24 criminal allegations. Yeah, I think we can live with Colin Kaepernick being back in the NFL. That would be the best option. Sounds like it'd be interesting though. Just to see what happens with them. That'd be the only thing interesting about the Cowboys right now. Micah Parsons can still play, but that's not news. Dude's an
Yeah.
absolute baller. In other news, yeah, okay. If anything, I'm glad the Bucks. Going back to that, I'm glad the Bucks won, just so we don't have to. I didn't have to see all over Facebook "We them boys," from Cowboys fans.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm happy because man, when the Cowboys win, the fans they roll out, bro. So if anything, I'm just, and I'm not a Cowboys hater, but that is annoying. Just when it's flooding my timeline, it's like y'all aren't that good. Even when they were 13-3, you knew they weren't going to get past the second round. At least I did. I was like, it's a rookie quarterback and a rookie running back. I don't care how good the line is. You're not winning the Super Bowl. We them boys. Sure enough, they get ousted. But they're not they're not good at all this year. It's gonna be a long year for Jerry, man. I'll probably listen to some of his post game little interviews though, just to hear what he has to say about it. In other news, Baker's comeback game against the Browns in Carolina didn't go as Baker would have hoped. He made
No.
some. I saw some highlights. He made some plays, but I think he had a very Baker Mayfield game.
Yeah, he got off to a really not so great start. So
Yeah, he missed some throws. He made some throws. He played like Baker Mayfield plays. We saw why the
threw a
Browns
pick
moved on.
directly to the Browns. I was like, hey, wait a minute, that's not your team anymore.
Yeah,
It just
I'm.
hit him right in stride. I'm like, no.
Yeah, we saw. To me, we saw why the Browns moved on. Like it was a perfect example of why Cleveland moved on. It, we're, I know who they got. They got a better quarterback. Not a better person, but they got a better quarterback. And they won't see him till week 12, but they saw enough of Baker to say, yeah, we're done with this, you know. Baker's post game presser was kind of funny to me though, saying something like, kind of making it out like he's like, I mean, this isn't the Super Bowl, like it's been made out to be. That's not played until February and all this. And it was just kind of funny the way he was handling it. It was like he was, and I heard this line somewhere else, but I'm going to steal it because it worked. It was like he was 30 seconds away from being like, you know, you guys are the ones that made a big deal out of this. It was just another game to us guys in the locker room. This is just another game. It felt like he was like 30 seconds away from doing that. I was like, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, that pretty much sums up exactly how the presser went. But it was a very Baker Mayfield game to me, and just showed why Cleveland moved on.
Yep. You get the bad, then you get the good, and then you might win the game, you might not.
Yeah. But we'll talk about what was a really entertaining game for me Thursday night. The Bills at Rams, man. How I mean, there was a lot of talk going around. Was it that the Rams just looked bad, or the Bills just that good? I thought the Bills just looked that good. The Rams aren't what they were last year. I think
No.
that's clear. How could you be? You lost Von Miller, no more Beckham, and so forth. Your some of your offensive linemen retired or gone, different teams. You're not the same team. Most Super Bowl
Stafford
teams
didn't
aren't.
look the same. I mean,
Stafford missed some throws, but he'll come back from that.
yeah,
But I just thought the Bills just looked that good. The Bills are improved. A lot of
Bills
people
look
thought
good.
going in the Bills have the best roster in football. They look the part, man. They look the part Thursday. And it's not just that, man. Josh Allen, the game has just gotten so much easier for him.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy that figured it out.
They said he was like laughing out loud every time he was getting tackled.
Yeah, I mean, when you're
It,
6'7",
it
250 or whatever, and
have you seen the clip of him and Jalen Ramsey?
I didn't.
Him teabagging him.
No, I did not see that. I saw
Oh, it's
the.
hilarious.
I mean, I saw live, and of course, I watched various replays of it. The stiff arm
Yeah.
on whatever corner that was. And he was laughing. Josh Allen was laughing on the ground. You know, after that play, I was like, yeah, he knows he just made a highlight. He knows he just made a highlight. But I mean, the game has just gotten so much. He's figured out the game, Josh Allen, man. He's an elite quarterback in this league. We knew that last year, especially in the playoffs. But he's just a different animal out there now, man. He's playing like a dude that's got it figured out. The Bills have a stout. They have a stout defense. Diggs, just balled out. Jalen Ramsey allowed a perfect passer rating on guys that he covered.
Yeah,
Uh,
Diggs and Davis are tearing it up.
Diggs just lit him up, man. Lit him up. But the other thing that sticks out to me is what Jalen Ramsey said, shortly after the Bills drafted Josh Allen
Oh yeah.
called it a trash pick, and just didn't think they would do anything with Josh Allen at quarterback. And that's like the ultimate karma. They get the game that the Bills had and the game that Jalen Ramsey had, which I would have been as about effective. I wouldn't have been as close in proximity
Yeah, I wouldn't have
as
been as
Diggs,
close, but
but I would have allowed a perfect passer rating too if I was out there covering stuff on Diggs. So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, it was just the Bills to me look that good. I thought the Bills looked just that good as opposed to the Rams looking bad and having a bad game. Did you watch the whole game?
I did. Yeah. Watched till the very end. Yeah, it's
And
pretty entertaining.
I
But
still love the Bills helmets. Just the white hits so different, man. The white, those are my favorite helmets in pro football. The Bills helmets with that white. It used to be the Titans because the Titans had the white, and it just popped. It just popped more. I don't like the hard navy or whatever we're calling it. I mean, I made that up. I'm not saying that's what they're calling it, but
The
I don't know
hard
how else
navy.
I don't know how else you would describe it. Just the way their helmets are now. I get it. You want to switch it up, but I think the Bills helmets are sharp, man. Big fan of those. Big fan of that team. And another team that I'm a fan of now, the Bengals. That was the first game on. I saw that was the first game on CBS Sunday, so I got real excited for that.
Yeah.
Man, they did not look good. Joe Burrow had a rough start, man.
Yeah, it took him a while to get settled in, but
And they still should have won the game.
they still should have won.
Through 4 picks. I want to say he lost a fumble or two.
He
And they
doubled his fantasy points in the fourth quarter, like
I would hope.
Burrow did. Yeah, I think he had like 9 because he had like 4 picks.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and then I think he finished up with like 18 or 19 in my league, so he got enough to get the job done. I
Yeah,
didn't lose on that one.
Josh Allen got me 31 or something like that.
And you, man,
Okay, here's the thing. The guy I played has Patrick Mahomes.
I had Patrick Mahomes in one of my
Yeah,
leagues. It's him and Kelsey. That
and
one was
he
pretty good.
full on balled
Lit
out.
it up.
But we'll get to that. But yes, yeah, Bengals had a. I had to think about. It. I was like, what were we talking about? Yeah, the Bengals, man, rough start. That revamped offensive line didn't look very revamped to me. I think they
No,
allowed like 7 sacks or something, and they still should have won the game. And it wasn't just that game; they were kicking woes throughout the league Sunday. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, these are like pro football kickers. And what's with all the high snaps and can't get the laces out? It was like that. It was like that in college too. It was like that in college over the weekend.
well, the backup snapper, backup deep snapper for the Bengals. I'm pretty sure he couldn't even would have been second string in college. That snap was so damn slow. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the reason. Yeah,
But shout
and
out to the Chiefs guy that came in and kicked an extra point and then did a kickoff. Can't remember his name, but that was
kicked it
pretty
through the
cool.
back of the end zone. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
He used to be a soccer player or something. And obviously kicked, for his football team at the lower level. But yeah, that was pretty cool, I thought. But yeah, it's okay. How did Trubisky look to you?
Better than I thought he would.
Yeah, I thought he played pretty well. A lot of people were like,
He did.
huh?
Yeah, he looked better than he did on the Bears.
Well, he'd have
Of
to,
course, that's
right?
not hard. Yeah.
Yeah. He's on a better team now. Although the Bears did win a 19-10 win over
Yeah.
San Francisco, and we'll get to that in a bit. Trey Lance and his performance. But I thought Trubisky looked pretty good, man. I could see him. He's playing like a perfect bridge quarterback would right now, but like he's wanting to hang on to this job. I thought he looked good. But yeah, Bengals still should have won the game despite all that. The way Burrow played and all that. But special teams, man. Got to shore that up. But one team that did look good, the Vikings. I said going in, I thought the Vikings could surprise some teams this year. I thought these guys could win 11, 12 games. I'm firm on the 12 games now. This looks like a 12 win team for sure. They looked good, man. They went and got the Ram. That's another departure the Rams had. Rams offense coordinator is the head coach. So Kirk Cousins has a coach that he's probably got some rapport with, as opposed to a guy that they couldn't stand each other. Mike Zimmerman, the guy can coach, but he's a defensive coach. Kirk Cousins needs an offensive coach. He's the type of guy that he Kirk Cousins, I think, is the type of guy that needs somebody to kind of play him up a little bit, just not constantly be at odds with him. So just say, yeah, we're gonna good job every now and then, and I think he'll have a big year, man. He looked good, man. Cousin, and I don't know how Justin Jefferson got open seemingly every play.
Yeah, that's what I want to know because
You
I
would
was
have thought
playing against him.
you would have thought I was out there covering. You or me were out there covering him. That's how open he was. I know he's a hell of a receiver, but wow, like you cannot let that guy get wide. I just kept saying, I didn't play him, but I was thinking, like, how do you let that guy get that open? But I thought the Vikings looked good, man. I said before the season, looks like I think this is an 11-12 win team. Firm on 12 now, man. Might be pushing 13. That's the best team in the division to me.
Yeah, definitely ain't gonna be the Packers if they play like that.
I think yeah, the Packers will
But
rebound. They
yeah, they
always
usually
do.
play like crap the first week or two. So
They did last year, and they ended up being the record wise the best team in the NFC. But I don't think that I don't think that'll happen. I don't think they're the best team in the division. I think they're a wild card team, but yeah, we'll see what happens with them moving forward. I think they'll bounce back. Rodgers will get those young receivers in line, but yeah, tough week one, but tough matchup too. Like I said, the Vikings are a good team this year. But the other game, so that well, there were lots of games, but the other game I'm going to mention the Niners and Bears. Bears winning a 19-10 game and what was wonderful conditions. It looked like they're in Chicago. And I don't know anything about how it got to that. I was like, was the weather just that bad? But then you see stuff of like springs busting on Twitter. I saw that. I don't know what happened. The weather was terrible. I guess it was just a ton of rain. I don't know. But
yeah,
the Bears pulled it out. Trey Lance did I don't know, man. He's had his struggles and here's his numbers. 13 for 28 passing,
dang.
164 yards and an interception. He did have 13 carries for 54 yards. He's going to make plays with his legs, but he's also only going to complete like 50% of your passes, and that's not an NFL quarterback. So, how long, if it were you, would you stick with this? Like to me, it was like there's a reason they kept Jimmy G on the roster.
Uh, 4.5 games. If you don't show up by then, you're out. See
Yeah,
ya.
second half of game 5 is like here comes Jimmy G. Then sounds like
Yeah.
yeah, because it's still a good team, man. But they want to see what he has. I think they're yeah. I don't know, man. It depends on how bad it is. If it's like this, if it continues to be like this, then
That would
yeah,
be week
it's
4. Yeah, it'd be the fourth game.
yeah. Or I think 4 to 6 games is what we're looking at. Just depends on how bad it gets. If it's more of this, yeah, it'll be 4 or 5 games in before. And let's you might want to try. Like Jimmy's looking pretty good over there right now. Like when you break up with a girl that was a pretty good girl, and then then you get back out in the dating field, and then you see what else is out there, and you're like, that other one's looking pretty good, man. Like, I'm gonna see what she's doing. Um, so yeah, that was the thing to me. It looked like there was a reason Jimmy G's still on the roster. Yeah. And okay, tomorrow night's game. Chart. Yeah, we're coming at you Wednesday now, or just tonight. Coming at you Wednesday tonight, y'all. Had to push it back a day, but we didn't miss any. We're not missing any games. No late games. Tomorrow's game, the Thursday night game, Chargers at Chiefs on Amazon Prime. That ought to be a good one, man. Mahomes and Justin Herbert. I saw the
So they
highlights
gonna
of
play.
Herbert.
So they gonna play with the ball, the weird ball,
What? What do you mean?
the different football that they've been advertising for like 3 weeks now. The Amazon Prime ball.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
skinnier.
But yeah, I don't know. Or
Dude,
it's
it looks stupid. But
Sure, it's not just like an advertising thing. I mean, it's
no,
got to be like one
I really
ball.
want them to play a full quarter with it for people to realize how stupid of an idea it would be.
Well, I mean, if Tom Brady got suspended and everybody made a big hoopla about a football not having as much air as it's supposed to, like it's still the same football. I don't care how much air's in it. That was the most ridiculous, overblown story in the history of pro football to me. Like he can grip the ball easier if there's not as much air in it. Okay, then let the other team take some air out. Like if it's such a big deal. Like who cares? It's still the same football. He's not out there throwing a tennis ball or a Nerf ball. That's just that's another thing. But yeah, I would not think that they're going to go with an Amazon Prime ball just because it's not the regulation one. If they're going to make such a big deal out of Brady not having as much air in it, then they probably don't need to let them play with the Amazon Prime ball unless Amazon's giving them, a whole lot of billions, and then they'll probably listen, right?
Yeah, maybe next year they can play with the Nerf Vortex or something.
I mean, they'll just be Uncle Rico in it then, man, throwing it over the mountains. Be kind of hard to see though on a camera, I would
Yeah,
think, unless they got the kind of the glow in the dark kind, or the kind that lit up when you
dude,
spin it.
it's the NFL. You know they can afford them lights on it.
Yeah, they can afford a lot of things. Another thing, Saturday night, I did not see this. I saw the knockout via Twitter. Le'Veon Bell knocks out Adrian Peterson in their boxing match Saturday night. Going into it, I would have picked Adrian Peterson to win that fight,
Yeah,
but Le'Veon Bell is younger, and I also would have picked though. Like I would have picked Frank Gore to beat Darren Williams in a fight. So I'm 0 for 2 on running backs boxing and boxing matches. I'm picking those. But how do you feel about NFL running backs, former NFL running backs transitioning to boxing? I guess in part for
um,
a payday one, and just you still got that competitive spirit about you.
yeah, they can do what they want. I mean, somebody's gonna watch it. I mean, don't go out there and do like bare knuckle boxing or something with a foreign object. But
It
I don't
just
see
feels a
I don't,
little.
it's gimmicky, it's sideshowy, but
It's full on gimmicky, but I'm just thinking, is it like you got to think a little bit of your legacy, but then again, like, is this how I want to kind of be remembered? As
yeah,
the going to the boxing ring and fighting another ex player, not
because
even another boxer.
now every Adrian now every Adrian Peterson highlight reel can end with him getting knocked on his ass in a boxing match.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, got
It's
dropped, but it's because yeah, you're talking about a top 5 NFL running back of all time. What is he, number 4 on the rushing list? 4 or 5?
yeah,
I mean, and he is. He's a top 5 running back ever. His prime matches up with anybody. Ran for 2,000 yards on the year after ripping his ACL up. I mean, it's just an absolute legend, and he's out here doing this. So it's kind of, and Frank Gore, number 3 on the all-time rushing list, and he's on the Jake Paul undercard. You know,
yeah,
I get it. You're getting paid, and you've still got that. They're not doing it just for the money because they don't need it, but they have that competitive drive about them. They want something that's going to make them feel like it's game day. I get it, but it's not what you were great at. So I just I don't know. Maybe some of them do need the money. I don't know. I'm not their accountant, but yeah, it's I have mixed emotions about it. Do what you want to do, man. Is I'm good with that, but
yeah. I
think
didn't
about it
waste any of
too.
my money watching it, so
No, I didn't need to. I'm sure it was a terrible fight.
oh,
I'm sure there was nothing.
guaranteed.
There was no
Terrible start.
sweet science involved. I mean, Adrian Peterson still looks great with a shirt off. You know, I mean, he's got that going for him, but he hadn't been out of the league that long either. And I'm sure he's still a workoutaholic. But like I said, I mean, you want to still feel like it's game day to an extent. Yeah, and that's I guess the closest they can get to it at this point. I didn't know Adrian Peterson was out of the league, but of course I haven't seen him really play in 2 years either. So I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. I wasn't surprised by that.
I think he was on a roster last season, but yeah, this season, nope.
And he was on a couple of them. He came in and played for like the Titans, right? When Derrick Henry got hurt and even scored a touchdown.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was there for a little bit.
I do recall that. He did score a touchdown. That should have been like it, you know. But if he wants to go in and do this, more power to him. I applaud him for having the guts to go in there and do it, I guess. But we see the result. We're sitting here talking about it like it's not the greatest thing in the world to do. But I don't know. I just don't want this to become a trend. Ex football players just coming in doing boxing matches for payday and to get that competitive drive. You know,
That's kind of been going on for a while, though. Ex-athletes somehow make their way into boxing. I mean, what, late 90s or early 2000s? Is that whenever they were having like the celebrity boxing and like the washed up like B and C Hollywood actors or ex-athletes were stepping into the ring. I think they had like a Tanya Harding fighting at one point.
they did.
So
They've
it
been
kind
doing
of
it
just
for a long time.
happens. Yeah,
They've been doing
long
it for a
time.
long time. It was a bad look then. It's a bad look now. Still, but if the check's high enough, whatever, I guess. But
True.
I don't think that's why they're doing it. I'm sure the money is nice, but I'm sure that's part of why they're doing it. But the other reason is, yeah, I need something to feel like it's game day, and that's their way of getting it. Go to WWE, man. It's all scripted, and they
Yeah.
don't even do chair shots to the head anymore. They've evolved. Go to WWE, man. Triple H will sign you. It's Triple H now, not Vince. Vince is retired, so yeah, he'll bring you in, man. Do that. Do that. Don't do this. Just me. I just don't want it to become a trend. But yeah, we're gonna bounce, y'all. This is gonna be just part one, though. The end of part one. We'll have part two coming at you here in a bit. See you soon.
Part one over.